The Couch is proudly supported by Palace Cinemas, Elite Audiovisual Productions, Crown and Andrews Board Games, fun for the whole family, and Scoot Airlines. Escape the ordinary, fly Scoot.
Hello Australia, welcome to another Big Couch in high definition, if you haven't already noticed. That's why I'm looking, I guess with me you can't tell I look so good because I already do. And unfortunate, you can't even ask Sky News if I look good because they'll just say Liberal, 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 Liberal. Anyway, let me tell you who's on episode 636 today, the 5th of May, if you're wondering, only a few more weeks to the election when we get to vote Labor. Carmen and Michael are coming in from 6PR and Channel 9. You know them from their brand new Brekkie show on 6PR. Talking movies with Mark. We've got 2 great movies and one of his own picks. And we give you a chance at winning some tickets to Palace Cinemas, an amazing new technological, modern and fantastic cinema here in Perth, Rain Square. We'll tell you more about that one. Polywaffle with our politicians. Rachel Seward, Senator Rachel Seward is coming in. And the leader of a new party called the WA Party, Julie Matheson's coming in. And these people right beside me, Chris, Jen and Ted, they are the bitching team. They'll be here very, very soon. Big show. We also give you a chance to win another trip on Scoot. Enough from me. High definition tires you out. Here it is, episode 636. See you soon.
It's showtime on the couch. It's showtime on the couch. You can see it from your house. You can see it from your house. It's showtime on the couch with Fred and the best in town. Yeah, it's showtime on the couch. Oh, oh, oh.
It's going to be an amazing Australian-built show today, made here, local people, local television, and we've got a fantastic Indigenous performer. He's been on NITV on SBS, but he's here today to promote his brand new song. His name is Joel Davis, and the song's called Jinder. Here he is, centre stage.
Wishing upon a gender and quabbery around the earth. The Milky Way dripping our faith and dripping our love. Meja, meja, cool. Meja, meja, cool. Meja. Yeah, hey, yeah, hey. Yeah, hey, yeah, hey. Yeah, hey, yeah, hey. Yeah, hey. Wishing upon a gender and quabbery around the earth. The Milky Way dripping our faith and dripping our love. Meja, meja, cool. Meja, meja, cool. After the Major, it can't be seen, but it can be felt. Sing to the chord, Jalani. Sing now back to Yakut. Our song band strengthen us. Our culture strengthen us. Our chord is big and strong. Hey, yeah, hey. Yeah, hey, yeah, hey. Yeah, hey, yeah, hey. Yeah, hey. Strong, strong. Love keeps jumping. Strong, strong. Good keeps working. Strong, strong. Love keeps jumping. Strong, strong. Good keeps working. Hey, 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 hey.
Time for bitchin'. Okay, let's introduce our bitches for today. We've got Chris Ilsley from 6PR Radio.
Good evening.
We've got Jen Merrigan from haveagonews.com.au.
Hello, how are you?
And good, thank you, Jen. And of course, the legendary presenter on. We would not be the same without you there.
Well, I love
Ted
your
Bull.
red jacket. I feel it's a political statement.
Well, you know,
And it clashes with your watch.
oh, look, unlike Sky News,
Funny you should mention that. Oh, he already did, didn't he?
I did. Look, at the end of the day, we had an election coming up on the 18th of May. I always believe people will have their own
Yeah.
opinions on everything. I just believe that we, as broadcasters, interviewers, journalists, we still must show the balance.
Yes,
Now,
indeed.
The balance today
Oh, wrong side.
is you, Ted. Ted, what's your story today?
Well, it's nothing to do with politics, but it's a very important thing, and it's about spoilers. The Avengers, big movie. I can't believe
Came out last
I
week.
read a review where the bloke who reviewed it made page 3 in the West Australian newspaper and said he got into his car and cried, broke down. I mean, person up,
obviously-
mate, person up.
they
Was
obviously-
it was a bit of a sad movie or something?
Well, I don't
Sounds
know.
like they ran out
Family.
of free popcorn.
They probably did, but
Free
I'm not going to
popcorn.
say what happened because I have no idea.
Yep.
But Robert Downey Jr., you may be surprised to know, actually knows what happens. And so he's got on Facebook. He used to be known as the old Rust Bucket, but now he's the Iron Man. Now that he's overcome a few bad habits he had.
And had a good end rusting.
Well, he did. Anyway, he said, he tweeted a gif of Captain America and warned, Cap knows, I've got to get the right voice, Cap knows best. Keep those spoilers to yourself. Now, I have nothing against spoilers if you're not spoiling it for people. If you're spoiling it for yourself,
who
that's
cares?
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I am a self-spoiler. I mean, I will look at a DVD and run it to the end to see what happens.
What's the point?
I have to
Ted?
say,
Well, I
Peter,
have
I'm
to-
the
Page
same.
in the book, Ted?
Well, yeah, I do. And you know, and this may be a spoiler, but Romeo and Juliet die. I thought I'd just mention that in passing.
Do you know I saw the movie Titanic? And the boat sank.
Oh my God!
Can I do a spoiler? Scott Morrison loses the election on the 18th of May. And get over it, people. Bill Shorten will be the Prime Minister. Anyway, we'll edit this. If I'm wrong, we'll edit this.
Getting back to what I was talking about.
Good spoilers.
You know, I mean, Robert Downey Jr. I think is doing the right thing here because you know, why spoil it for people? Although, and Chris, you may have experienced this, when television has delayed a footy match. And you know the result, you're on air and you say, well, here are the results, my best voice, here are the results of the football today. And you give them, and people will ring up and say, why did you
Why
do
did you
that?
give the results
And
out?
I'd say, look, bad luck, baby. You
didn't want to know, don't listen.
this is a radio station. I'm not
We're
paid
in
by
real
Channel
time.
7. Yeah,
Exactly.
We're in real time.
real time.
And here's another point. Why are they delaying the telecast?
Yeah, especially when it's a sellout or it's over east.
Well,
But
it's
what's the
all
point?
to
Do
do
you
with
know
the
something?
$1 billion the
Yeah.
AFL got.
I love the
deal.
way football operates. If any other commercial business operated like that,
Yeah.
they would
They'd be
probably
broke.
have the ACCC after them for restraint of trade and God knows how many
amazing.
other corporate violations.
Yeah, I hope this isn't a spoiler that you're
No.
giving away
No,
there.
no.
Yeah, so what are you guys?
What do
You
you
look
two-
like you
what-
agree with me for the
do you
first
like
time in
spoilers, Jen?
Well, my daughter went and saw it at 7 o'clock or whatever the day it came out. Yeah,
Here's my
and she
spoiler.
said it was sad too.
Oh.
She said it was very sad.
I'm sad they
And-
made another one.
Well,
Well, people love it.
Will you see it?
And no,
I will see it at Gold Class, or what's the other one that you
There's
talk about?
Platinum.
The Platinum.
Oh, wait,
Platinum's
I'll
a lot
see
better
that
than
on
Gold
Fox.
Class.
Now, what's the difference in this case between platinum and gold?
Well, Platinum's when we're sponsored by a cinema
Yeah, they're
like
wonderful.
Palace
the beautiful
Cinema,
Palace Cinema.
I
Platinum
love the
is
Palace
better
Cinema.
than Gold Lounge.
It
Yes.
is great. And
Is that the
Don't
one
go
down
when
at
you-
Rain Square?
It is.
And
Yes.
don't go when
Do you
you're
know
tired.
what? Can I tell you something,
fall
guys?
asleep.
In 2 weeks' time, I'm going to give you all a double pass. You're not here. I'll give it to you sooner.
can you arrange it in London? 'Cause
I- oh, no.
I think that's where I'll be in 2 weeks. I might be in London.
But I'll
Maybe
give
you
you
go
something
to
you can
Ian's
have for
personal
yourself.
cinema.
Jen, what's your story today?
Well, I've got this one about gender equality statistics, and this is.
You get all the good topics.
Oh, I get all the good topics. This is a cracker, this one. A vegan cafe in Melbourne's north, in Brunswick, became the punching bag of Melbourne after introducing an 18%
Oh, I saw the man tax.
But they're closing down. Surprise, surprise.
But why did they? What was the tax
Yeah,
supposed
what's
to
the
be for?
18% man tax?
She was. I think it was a publicity grab, personally,
people
because she
in.
made
I'm guessing it was run by a bunch of cabbage-munching misandrists. That would be my
Yes, it was run by vegans, and on their chalkboard they advertised that women have priority seating and the respect goes both ways, but the tax was donated to charity.
Oh, that's good. So why are
So
they
it was
closing?
more a publicity
They
stunt.
closed.
Because they're
End of
bloody
April.
vegans.
They've got a lot of bad
Well, I
advertising.
think because
Where's
at
a
the
good
end of the
steak
day,
when you need it?
Bad
well,
advertising.
yeah,
That's
you
what
know,
it is.
we
Look,
didn't-
look, this is one of those things that have been, the girls have been around having a few shardies. They said, oh, let's open a restaurant.
No, they're vegans. They don't
You do
drink
that very
Chardonnay.
well.
It comes from grapes.
No, but there's eggs and stuff in it. So
Ted, can you do that
they use eggs
impersonation
to
of the
make
girls
things.
again?
Did I do
Because you
that?
did that really
You did
well.
it really well, but they won't drink. Vegans don't drink Chardonnay.
We're not drinking Chardonnay, we're just drinking
The beard's got to go.
chai,
orange juice.
Oh, I don't
almond
know. The
milk
beard's
latte.
probably found down here somewhere.
What do you
Is
think?
this politically
Shave my legs
correct?
before
Do you know-
I
Why
do
don't you
it.
shave your
It strikes me as weird that we've got sexism laws in this country, equal opportunity, all
Yeah,
that sort of thing.
yeah.
When someone comes out and they're the ones fighting for equality,
Yeah.
and then they create a silly stunt, I'll call it a silly stunt because it could be nothing more than that.
That was a stunt.
Where they're charging a male tax to say to women, see, you're put first here, we put you first. But it's backfired on them.
But and that's not equality.
What
is it?
self-respecting bloke would have taken
Silly.
his girl to that poxy
Well, he wouldn't
restaurant
be able to
anyway?
get
Yeah.
He'd be charged double her.
Well, what's the point if you've got?
But you have to
pushing
go and
for
stand outside
equality,
for half an hour after you've
you
been there to
don't then go and treat
photosynthesise.
men poorly or make them pay a tax or something.
It's the pay gap, isn't it?
It's yeah.
It's a pay
But
gap.
you see, if you vote for Bill Shorten, the pay gap's going to be even less. Because no, that's true. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I do believe in equality, but I also believe
Equal
that
pay, definitely.
equal pay. That
Yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah, of
But I
course,
also believe that people have to do equal pay, equal work, and it's got nothing to do with people being males or females. There's some jobs that males can't do, and
Imagine
some
if you
women
did the
do better.
reverse. I always think if you do the reverse, and if you said, look, we're a very butch place, and if women come in, we're going to charge them 18%
I like that.
more in our coffee shop. You'd say, wrong. I mean,
Yeah.
there'd be people, more than people going to the Adani mine would be protesting
That's
out the
it.
front.
Absolutely. So if you want to
And
fight
rightly
for
so.
equality,
All the
that's
vegans would
not,
be at the
that's,
Adani.
Yeah,
that's not the way to do it.
Of
Or-
course, on the other
or-
hand, there is always a good steakhouse down the road.
Yes, there
and there's no
you go.
gender pay
And a bit
gap.
of meat there.
No
as well.
gender pay gap and a bloody big steak.
Yeah.
And he'll be there welcoming you in,
Yeah, Brunswick,
taking
I
the
know
tax
well.
off males.
No
as well.
vegan, no vegans.
And no GST, I reckon,
Yeah.
on males.
And do you know the
No
other thing?
GST on males.
You know the other thing about vegans, they like to go on natural, and sometimes it's not a good experience.
No, I've seen it firsthand.
Really?
Yes.
I guess it's like an off cabbage.
Hey, look, we've got an
We
amazing
went past the
presenter on
vegan
the
one day
couch.
and I didn't know whether to call an ambulance or an undertaker.
Now we've got one of our presenters on the couch. Cara Walker's been with us for
Oh,
many
no,
years,
but
and
Cara's
Cara
lovely.
doesn't
They all
shave her
are.
armpits. Can I tell you that? She showed me them once, and I was like, wasn't the nicest thing.
Can
but
you get them braided in Bali?
I'm just glad it was just her armpits she showed me. Anyway,
God.
it's your
Thank you
turn,
for that
Chris.
visual picture, Fred. I'm feeling so much better. I think
Chris,
I'm going
what's
to
your
be
story
sick.
today? Oh, we're talking about this home invasion in Mount Lawley.
Yeah, in Mount Lawley in Perth. It was a home
Guildford
invader.
Road.
He died after being stabbed multiple times inside the house. And the person allegedly responsible for this was the homeowner or somebody who lived in the house, which of course raises the very question about what the technical term for it is, a castle doctrine. We don't have those in Australia.
Yeah, so we're saying if someone breaks into your house, where do we stand? What can
Yeah.
we do to protect
Yeah.
ourselves?
Basically, I know this article here says people can use any force in Western Australia to defend. I don't think that's right.
Isn't it
Isn't it
equal force or
reasonable?
something?
It's
Oh,
reasonable
I thought it was.
Reasonable.
I did say
And
that,
it has
Chris.
to be, and it has to be defined. So, for example, what's reasonable force for Jen could, in law, be defined differently as
But
reasonable force
I'll ask you a
for
question.
me.
Say someone breaks into my house, Jen, right? And they've got a golf stick, okay?
Yeah.
And what am I supposed to do? Hang on a sec, I'm just going to go and look for something that's equal to your golf stick.
Do you know,
Would you
Getz
not
is
just
dumb
pick
as
up?
that.
You'd pick up whatever you had around you.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
it was a brick, you'd use it. If you had a knife, you'd use
Absolutely.
it.
We have
I
a
wouldn't-
nulla at the front door, which is a
Yeah.
Aboriginal and a camel whacking stick and a couple of.
Well-
I mean, they're all decorative.
Well, I
but
tell you
they're-
what-
Oh,
What's
yeah.
your obsession with camels?
Yeah, there's a scene that
I love a good
Do you
camel.
think? Do you guys think?
one hump or two.
Ted,
Why
do you
would you riding?
think? Do you think that you should be allowed to defend yourself, and you shouldn't? Do you think it's too hard to go look for equal force, or do you think you just?
You don't think about it.
No, I don't think you'd think about
don't
it.
think
No,
about
but
it.
I think you've also got to be very careful because I remember reading statistics years ago about women defending themselves, and if they had a weapon, the chances of that being turned back on them was much higher because at the end of the day, you know, most men
They're
are
stronger, yeah.
physically stronger than women.
But that's where the whole reasonable force thing comes in. Let's say, for example, you've got three people. Somebody breaks into your house and you respond to them the way you do, right? And then the next person confronted with the same scenario responds, and they have a black belt in some form of martial arts, right? So they basically put the bloke through the wall 5 seconds flat. That's where the whole reasonable force comes in, because let's say you've used a golf club and they've looked and they said, well, okay, Ms. Merrigan here's a slightly built woman. This was a fairly amped up sort of guy, whereas they have a look at the martial arts guy and say, well, no, actually the odds were always against the bloke who broke in because this person happens to be a martial arts expert. Therefore, it wasn't reason. It gets
it's very dodgy.
funny.
The guy that actually, there was two men that invaded in this house. One of them was stabbed 3 or 4 times allegedly. The other one they've just arrested and is appearing in court tomorrow. So they did catch the second, and I think the second one's given evidence to say that the actual owners of the property weren't using undue force, because there was a lot of quietness because they were worried about the fact that they stabbed the villain 4 or 5 times. How is that
frenzy?
not excessive?
But I mean,
but I think
frenzy's
if you're
a
in that
funny thing.
position, my personal opinion is
Is it sub judice at the moment, by the way?
no, it hasn't been charged yet. It's alleged. Everything's alleged.
But it says here, under Western Australian law, it's lawful for the occupant of a house to use any force they believe is necessary to make a home invader leave their house or prevent them from committing an offence.
they did that.
I'm not sure that definition is actually right. I'm pretty sure it's reasonable
I'm
force.
pretty
The reason
sure
being,
as
if you
well.
say any force and you happen to own a gun, well, you say, well, hey, this was a big guy.
Well, that's what I'm
He looked
thinking.
amped up, so I shot him, and so therefore I've used any force.
Imagine someone
that I
walking
deemed
in with
reasonable.
a walking stick and you pull out a machine gun.
Or
That's
a
not equal
taser
force.
or-
But you know what? I think I have to say I don't really worry about things. This is my opinion. I think if someone invaded my house, I'd use whatever I had to defend myself, because they're not going to think twice.
Talk about in America, they have the castle doctrine to its ultimate, and there was a case in Nevada where some guy who was amped up on something, broke into an old World War II veteran's house, and he had his old World War II pistol in fine working order, and he emptied the magazine into him, no charges, because he had an absolute right to defend his
I'd make him a cup of coffee because I make terrible coffee.
On that
They'd have
note-
one sip
Well,
and
you
they'd
reckon-
go.
On that note, we need to wrap it up because we've got a big show today. Ted Bull, thank you very much
Yes,
for today.
in a
Now, you're
couple
going to
of
be
weeks.
away for a few weeks?
Yep. If
Couple of
that's
weeks.
okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't know.
I'll see if
we'll
I
have a
can
discussion
get Scott
afterwards
Morrison into Phil for
decide whether we
you.
can
Jen
continue.
Merrigan, haveagonews.com.au.
Yes.
Always something good to
And
read.
Facebook as well.
And Chris Ilsley, Perth Tonight on 6PR. You can listen to it on
.com.au or AM 882 if
8
you're
to
in the
midnight.
Perth metropolitan area.
local and live. Thank you very much, guys, for being here today.
Thanks, Fred.
That is it for Bitchin' for another week. We'll see them in another fortnight. We'll see them in 2 weeks' time, and we'll see you. No, we won't see Ted. But
I'll be
we've got
thinking
Peter
of you.
Newman coming in to fill in. We'll see you at the other side of this break with more of the couch. We've got Michael and Carmen coming in from Channel 9. Welcome back to the couch on Aurora Foxtel. Thanks for your company. I've got a couple of special friends here today, and I thought I've got to get them in. I've been trying to for a while. They are Carmen Braidwood and Michael Genovese. Thank you very much. Now, people over Easter probably go, who are these people?
Yeah.
Well,
Fair enough.
you, Carmen, you've worked on you've done radio in Perth for a long
Yeah.
time, 96, and now you're at the great station 6PR. You're back you're actually where you belong. You're doing really well with your new Brekkie show with this guy right next to you.
Thank you.
And
yeah.
Michael, you work at Channel 9 as well. You do the Destinations WA as well,
I
don't
do,
you?
yes.
And Michael does the 9 News. Do we call you fill in, or you just, when you're available, you sort of just jump in and do it?
No, well, when Tomo goes on holidays, often I get asked to fill in and be the main guy, sit behind the
I'm going to
desk.
say you look older when you read the news. I don't know if they say you look more mature.
Yeah,
Is that
no,
true?
I feel
Do you
older,
feel it?
yeah.
But you always try and have a bit of fun, because I've seen some of the off-the-cuff stuff you do out of the recordings. But
Yeah.
do you both enjoy working in TV, but you both have a passion for radio too. Now, Michael, I remember you when I started at 6PR as a fill-in, and you were there doing the news.
Yeah.
And then from there, you sort of moved to Channel 9 as a reporter.
It all moved pretty quick. Yeah, so Gary Adsted used to be the morning's host, and I was his roving reporter. So I got to go out and cover the biggest stories of the day and just report back over the phone to Gary on air, and I used to think that was the coolest job. And then I got a promotion to Channel 9, and then that was the coolest job. And so I'm doing that cool job from Monday to Friday, and then I get to come and do radio
And
with
now you
Carms.
work with me, and
Yeah.
that is the coolest
Can I
job.
say,
Keeps getting
when I
cooler.
first listened in, I thought, I wonder how it works, because you never know, because you did the fast, commercial breakfast radio for many
Yes.
years. And
Yeah,
to
I
go to
did
6PR, it's like
Yeah.
the brakes are on, you've got to be more conservative, more for our older audience.
Mm.
But both of you have managed to keep it quite fresh and young.
Yeah.
And you fit in very well. People like you, and people comment all the time.
I think that I tend to target the show to everybody, and just because you're a certain age doesn't mean you don't enjoy having a bit of fun and being fresh and hearing about new and vibrant, interesting things. It also means that you don't lose your sense of humour, right? We don't
Correct.
age and suddenly don't find things funny anymore. Yeah.
No,
tell
and
me
it's
that-
funny that you talk about her switch from FM to AM,
Yeah.
and you made that hand signal that stop.
Yeah.
At the start, I found myself going like, "Come and stop, just stop," because the ads would be on, and she'd be talking at a million miles an hour, all this funny stuff. And I just wanted to get the stuff that she was saying off air, on air, because that was the best stuff.
Because isn't commercial radio, I know I've done radio as well, and it's like you get a minute in between the music and all the ads to say everything you want to say, and then
Yes.
they cut you off and they go to an ad.
Quite right. So in FM radio land, we would spend a lot of time workshopping and practicing exactly what we're going to say, finding the funniest bits, condensing what was probably 10 minutes down into 2.5 at the most, and we put that to air. And there's a lot more pressure to keep it nice and tight. In this new space in Talkback Radio, we've got 4 ad breaks, and the rest of it we speak.
It's all talking, isn't
and
it?
we want to hear from listeners, so we're encouraging just this open dialogue. And as you can hear, that suits me much better.
So how's it different? Tell me how your show, now you're on Saturday and Sunday from what times on 6PR?
From 6 on Saturday through till 10, and then from 7 on Sunday through till 10.
What can we expect to hear? Because I've listened to your show and I know many people are like, "Oh, that's what they look like." But what can they expect to catch when they join you?
It's everything. From like today, we had the latest in political news from the campaign trail. We crossed to Michael Packy, and then we spend 45 minutes talking about gardening. So anyone from around Perth, WA, they can call up and ask Sue McDougall any question they want and get it answered to do with the garden.
Yeah.
And then from
you do
there, we've
sport.
got entertainment, we've got sports
Yes.
reports, we've got the lot.
If you're a fan of Stephen Baz during the week, on weekday on 6PR in the mornings, then you'll find you'll get that follow-on. It's a news-focused show. If there's latest breaking news, we've got Michael with his news background. I have a news background too, and we're able to delve into what's happening in news, and as well as that, have some fun and get you ready for your weekend.
I've got a stinger for you to use. It's the fresh way to wake up on the weekends.
Oh, the fresh
Fresh
way.
way.
New way
Can we
to
use
wake
that? Is that right?
Go for it.
Makes me feel like
of course,
a
it will have to be Carmen, Michael, and Fred.
Get fresh with Fred.
I'll do the paddling for you.
all right.
You guys are wonderful. Can I ask? Because a lot of people at home are saying they're both quite young, which you are. Well,
Ish.
you're in your 30s, aren't you? Most.
Yes, we are.
Am I right?
You're
How
right.
did you start? Where did you get? Can I start with you first, Carmen?
Sure.
When did you decide you wanted to? Because I did hear you in Mandurah once on the radio.
I did. I worked
on
in
Coast
Mandurah.
FM. But
Yep.
where did you get your start? Where did the light globe go on and you thought, I want to work in TV or radio?
Oh, that would have been for the very first time listening to the likes of Gary Shannon, Jane Marwick, Amanda Walsh, Bernie Britton doing the morning crew, as it was known back then. And I always wanted to be the newsreader on a radio show.
And you did that.
I really did. And then I went and did that. And as sort of tended to happen, I would read the news and invariably get involved with the other cast on the show. And I got dragged over to being on the show more often than I was the news.
Do you remember
person.
your first job ever in radio or TV?
I guess technically the very first paid job was producing at 6PR. I produced Fill In on Summer for Steve Gordon, I
Oh,
think,
yes,
at
Steve.
overnights and
Yep.
on nights, on the weekends.
You
And
used to do Saturday night or something.
yeah, and Basil
Remember
Semplis
when?
was doing a fill-in on breakfast. I remember filling in and covering then, and even Bob Moormill. And he was the first person that I called when I was called in to fill in on a
You've had a
6PR
lot of
shift last
experience.
year, just to get some advice. And the thing he said to me that really resonated is, I was a bit worried about being one of the first women back on 6PR. Jane Marwick's there, but there's just not many female voices actually, and in regular shifts.
We're changing. We're getting the balance right,
Yeah,
hopefully.
but Bob said some of the greatest female, the greatest talkback presenters have been women over the years, and he gave me a few great examples, and that was really inspiring.
And what about you, Michael? Where did you come from? Because someone told me you played football. So I thought, oh, we've got something in
Not
common.
very well.
That's the bit you have in common.
I watched football.
That's good.
I didn't take those high marks.
No, neither did
You're
I.
into fitness because I know you like to do your running and it's sort of like a lifestyle for you, isn't it? Being fit by mind, fit body.
To answer your original question, I came from Kalgoorlie, so I grew up and all there is to do in Cal is to play sport and play footy. So I was doing that from a young age. I got to do it here, just over the road actually, for Subiaco
really?
Footy Club. Yeah,
Wow.
I played a lot of reserves footy there and busted up my shoulders, chucked it in, and thought the media gig looked pretty good. Tim Gossage was actually my coach. So he hired me.
Surprised you learned how to play footy.
He later hired me at Channel 10, which was good. So I learned a lot under Goss. And
what did you do at Channel 10?
I was a sports reporter.
Wow. See, I didn't know that.
There you go.
And as the transformation from TV to radio, do you find it, both of you, do you find it's completely different?
From TV to radio.
When you work in TV and when you do your work in radio?
Yeah.
Can I don't want to ask you which do you find easier or better, but I guess you can answer that if you want.
I love the in and out of radio. You just go in there and it's live and anything could happen. Anyone can call you up and it's live and it's just the ultimate challenge. Carmen refers to it as talkback the Olympics, right?
Yeah, it's Radio Olympics,
Yeah.
especially breakfast shifts on radio. It's got so much going on, it's a nice busy time. And it's very different to overnights, and the thing I love about overnights, what you do, Fred, is that you've got this wonderful time to really connect with some beautiful members of our community, really in depth. We need to be a little more fast-paced at times.
You've got a lot on your show.
Yeah, we have many, many chunks of information to deliver in one short amount of time. And some of the TV I've done, not as much as what Michael's done, but the TV I've done, I enjoy. I love things like Destination WA and seeing great new locations, but it's much more time consuming. You spend ages producing, say, 2 or 3 minutes of content. Oh, and there's me with 9 News.
The destinations, you get to
a lot
go
of
to
hair.
so many different places. Is that 9 News or
Yeah,
there you go, there's the Pulse.
Yeah, the Pulse. Yeah.
Oh, there's that.
Virgo.
That's John Burgess, the Smith Chips guy.
Yeah, that's the one.
It's amazing, like you look at people like that. Even myself, Carmen, I find sometimes we work with people that we looked up to in radio and TV. I mean, I remember when I first met Gary Shannon, and it was like, oh my God, this is Gary Shannon.
Yeah.
Not so much with Jane because I didn't really know her that well, but it's amazing when you get to work at our ages. We work with these people, and you're like, oh my God, you feel honoured. I guess the word is.
Absolutely. I watched Burjo spin that wheel all through my childhood.
Amazing. Where to from here? If I said to you, look, in 5 years' time, you better not say you want to be Michael Thompson, but where would you like to be? Like, I know you've mastered the talkback.
Mastered is not the right term.
You've done really well
We're the
because it's
beginners.
hard. It's a hard job doing talkback. I mean, I'll give you an example. I remember when I first started at 6PR, everything comes off a computer for the ads. I had no ads. So for 4 hours, and we were there for 5, I think we were on for 6 in those days, I had no CD player, and people either hated me or they loved me. All I could do was sing or talk, and we did. We talked and talked and
When
talked and
did you
talked.
go to the toilet?
You don't. You just keep it all in house. But it's hard. It's such
like
a hard
fishing.
job. And the best thing that I think out of talkback radio that I had was when the fires, those big fires we had a couple of years ago, and I had a couple of callers from the region, and it was so beautiful to be sort of exclusive. These people ring you to tell you their story.
Yeah, and to share that with the community, to put a warning out. There's an immediacy that comes from that. And there's also a great sense of connectedness that people who might be on their own can experience just by listening to radio. That's why
Do you
I love
guys listen to a lot of radio, like when you're not at work?
Yeah.
You do? Talkback or music?
Yeah, I regularly listen to the entire 6PR lineup, and then the ABC podcast a lot of their stuff from Radio National, so I'll listen to them as well.
I was
I'll
going to
listen
say 6IX, but that's okay. You can talk back at BBC. What about you, Cam?
Yeah, when I finished working at my last full-time job at 96, I started listening to all the other radio stations in Perth to hear what was out there finally, because when you're very competitive, you kind of just stick to what you're doing. And I landed on 6PR. I've stayed there ever since, and I listen there all the time almost.
And you've been a fantastic contribution to the station, because I remember when you came in to fill in over summer and they all said she's wonderful. And you know what, it's a big change commercial to, both commercial radio, but music station to talk back, and you did really well and you've done really well. Look, big success. Again, tell us when we can hear you on 6PR.
Okay, yep.
Saturday mornings from 6 until 10, and then Sunday from 7 until 10.
And you can actually watch them live doing exercise and jumping up and down and drinking their coffee.
Yeah.
You can go on 6pr.com.au. Channel 9, you're still doing Destinations?
Destination WA is on a recess from shooting, but we'll be back, I believe, later in the year.
And you do commercials and stuff as well. I've heard your
She's
voice.
everywhere, Fred.
Spaza.
Yeah, I'm a big part of Spaza WA, the Pool Spa and Outdoor Living Expo.
Michael, when can we expect to hear this is National 9 News? Did we have that? Did we play that, Liam? I thought we had. No, we're not going to use it. Okay.
I think he poisoned Alice Murray's lunch, so good to see her. Oh, there he is.
With Michael Genovese.
Michael, can I put you on the spot? What's the headlines?
It's insane.
Any headlines?
The news headlines today.
Because people think you follow news 24 hours a day, you know.
Oh, there's a couple of pretty ordinary crime stories getting around this morning.
Any political stuff that I haven't seen yet?
Well, there's a debate that's going to happen over the next 24 hours.
I have. I've been watching Sky News. Can I just say, wonderful people I didn't know the Liberal Party owned them, but wonderful people. Look, you guys are wonderful. Channel 9, 6PR, you haven't got a reason to miss them. They're always on one or the other. Carmen Braidwood, Michael Genovese, it's been a pleasure having you here. I'd love to get you in again, maybe at Christmas time, get you to decorate some cakes.
Oh.
Who does it better?
I love it. I think we know I will.
Some cakes. Yeah, sounds like fun.
Fantastic. Anything you want to say?
Fred
Just
Naprica,
yes.
thank you very much.
You're very welcome. We are going to give away... We're going to give away a trip next week on Scoot. Now, you know Scoot, they're our favourite airline, especially mine, because if they weren't, I wouldn't go anywhere. Scoot have an amazing Dreamliner 787. They are just amazing. There was good old Grumpy, one of our travel companions. We flew to Singapore with him, and we're giving you a chance at home to travel anywhere in the world. That's right, anywhere. You can go to Athens like I did, or Sri Lanka, or China, or Berlin as well. All you have to do to be in the running is put the word Scoot, that's our code word, on an SMS on 0439 929 929. That's our SMS number. Or you can actually email us, as a couple of people have done. Sam, thank you for your email. I got that. All you have to do, code word, your name and address. You can't be crew, you can't be guests, you can't be people that have been on the show because people won't like that. But you can be a friend of mine and vote Labor. But no, look, Scoot, thank you very much. Wonderful. We'll be giving away one of those flights next week, and we hope it's you. Thank you very much to Scoot for being part of it. And we're going to take a break. Up after the break, we're going to talk movies with Mark Rickoff. Stick around. Welcome back to the couch and welcome to Polywaffle. First one, we've got an election coming up 18th of May. Now, can I just confirm what's gone on today? We did invite the Labor Party. Now, unfortunately, the Labor Party was not able to attend today, but they will be coming in next week. But we did invite the Liberals. They did write to us, but then they sent nobody and they didn't reply. So it's a shame because the Liberals are the people that want to retain government, and I think they should take every opportunity to tell the public why we should re-vote for them. But today we do have people willing to be here, and we've got the Australian Greens Senator Rachel Siewert.
Hi.
And you, thank you for being here, Rachel. You're always here, and I am very pleased to say that you're a contributor to this program all the time.
Thank you.
And you're a great West Australian too, because you're always supporting WA. And can I thank Julie Matheson as well. Now, we don't know you that well, Julie, but you're from the WA party. You're the convener.
Yes, the
Now,
Western Australia Party.
Are you the leader of the party
I
as
am
well?
the leader of the party and the founding member of the party.
So we'll get to talk a little bit more
Great.
About your policies, and also what are we arguing for in this election. Rachel, where do you think the Greens fit into the picture? What do you want from the public? Tell me the policies that will win you over.
Well, one of the overarching issues we all need to be focused on during this election is climate change. We saw the IPCC findings just a couple of weeks ago that said basically we've got 12 years to turn things around. Otherwise we lose the Great Barrier Reef. And I think what West Australians don't also know that much about is the impact that climate change is having on some of our icons. For example, Shark Bay, which is at very serious risk. It's a World Heritage Area. You know, people, all West Australians love Monkey Mia, for example. So I'm trying to remind people that climate change is very real and it's having a very real impact. And if we don't turn it around, we're in danger of losing so many places.
Yep.
And taking the planet's temperature beyond what we can.
Now, do you know,
pull
I
it
used
back
to be a
from.
sceptic, I have to admit, but the last couple of years I've had to turn around because I actually think there's a lot of people out there that are now saying climate change.
Oh yeah. So I was last week. I was down in the southwest. I was in talking to a whole lot of people in the southwest, including people that work on the land, and you don't even talk about if it's happening. It's what impact it is having right
Well, look
now.
at the Adani mine. We're all the way in here in WA, and yet we're interested. We're getting involved in rallies. You've got the biggest topic in young people aged under 25. The number one topic for this election was climate change.
And that's why the school strike, so many people are participating in that. And honestly, it actually gives me hope that young people are saying, we want you to take action. You've waited too long. We are taking action. And it gives me hope that young people actually get it.
I think they do. I watched Q&A a couple of weeks ago, and that was one of the top questions by young people. There was a Liberal that actually said, I'm lost. I'm a Liberal. I support your budgetary cuts and all this sort of thing, but I don't support your immigration policy when it comes to refugees, and I don't support your climate change. And he said, where can I fit into the Liberal Party? And there was nowhere for this person to fit in. Whereas I do admit, I think you guys have always stuck to your policy on climate change. The Labor Party somewhat has had a policy at least, and they are promising to make a real action on climate change. Do you see either of the parties, that are the major parties, one better than the other when it comes to climate change?
I think the Labor Party get it better than the Liberal Party. They have just absolutely squandered while they've been in power. They don't take adequate action. Their direct action is rubbish. But what Labor are refusing to commit to is this accelerated phase out of coal and moving into renewables.
Well, what do you think it is? Is it that they're scared from the lobby groups and the people?
Yes, they're scared from the. They're
But
still
you see
taking
that,
money
don't you?
from big business who, obviously don't want to see change. They've also got this conflict with workers. Now, that is, to my mind, a false conflict because what we're saying is we need an orderly phase out, an orderly transition. If we don't have an orderly transition, you've got to have a plan. You're going to have workers put out of work, like we've seen with the automotive industry, suddenly lose their jobs rather than a transition. So we actually think we've got the fairer plan, and we're saying to Labor, you actually need to outline how you will transition to 100% renewables.
I think if Labor does become government on the 18th of May, I think you'll find a better Labor Party, one that's more interested in talking to the Greens. I think that crap that went on years ago where if you voted for Labor, you got the Greens, I think it's more open now. The public aren't that afraid of you guys working with the government.
Certainly not from our
You won't
door
get it
knocking.
from the Liberals.
Yeah.
You won't get it from the Liberals at all. They're more interested in Clive Palmer and One Nation. But for those people who say the Greens are only about trees, can you tell us you're not about trees? There's other policies that you want to help with?
So maybe I'll go to my portfolio areas, which are family and community services, aged care, mental health, and very importantly, First Nations issues.
Yep.
They're the issues where we're really talking about some of the most vulnerable people in our community. So that's, like Newstart. I've
Correct.
talked to you a lot about
look,
Newstart. We've
the-
got to
the limit
increase
is
Newstart
terrible.
youth allowance by $75 a week. We've got to address mental health issues. Aged care. Well, we've got a Royal Commission into aged
Disability.
care on issues that many people in the community have been raising for years and years. So we've also, of course, got very strong education policies. Particularly, we want to move to free education and take TAFE back to what it once was.
Well, I heard some great news today that Bill Shorten announced that they're introducing some sort of dental back into Medicare, which you guys have been
Well,
pushing.
we're the ones that
I
led
know.
there, and
I
you'll
wanted
be
to give you-
aware when we were in balance of power after the 2010 election, we drove very hard Denticare. So that's something that the Greens are very proud
There's a
of.
perception that Greens are dangerous, and I tell you what, it's only done, that perception comes from the Liberal Party. The Labor Party stay hush on a lot of things because they know if they win and they need your support, they don't want to alienate you, and they can work with you, as we've proven that, I think, in New Zealand, and it can happen.
And here in 2010, we actually had the world's
Correct.
leading climate change legislation.
Do you think that the Greens are fighting hard out there? Do we see enough of the Greens? Because I haven't seen a lot of your ads on TV.
Well, we're actually doing quite a lot on social media.
Okay.
And we've
So
also
where can
got
we
lovely
see?
billboards up
One
now.
at the front of our building here.
Yes, and we've got them, around. I saw one in Fremantle.
Is it the
when
lack
I was
of
down
money?
there
Is
last
it 'cause
night.
you don't have the
Of course,
finance?
we don't take corporate donations,
Which is good.
So the two big, old parties take corporate donations, and we don't. So we had a sort of like a telethon over the interwebs the other day where we raised enough to pay for billboards some billboards to go up, for example. So we get lots of little donations, and we're always welcome lots of little donations, but we don't take big corporate donations.
I tell people don't overlook the Greens because I think you're more popular than what you think. I think climate change is very important. I mean, I'm doing an interview tomorrow with a producer and writer of a film called 2040, which is all about climate change, global warming. It's just come out in Perth and around Australia. It is big. The kids, the young people under 25s are really interested and they care about the environment. I think the Liberal Party is so in denial. The Greens and Labor, I think, you've got a hope there. But is there anything else you just want to tell us quickly about the Greens, that why we need to vote for the Greens in the Senate?
Because we are the people that are in the future. We care about Australians, we care about vulnerable Australians, and we care about the planet and climate change. So people and planet, really, really important. And we also, I just want to point out also that sometimes I get a bit depressed about, where our democracy is going. But when you look at the number of people that are now enrolled, 97%, up from 95 to 97%. Now, a lot of that is young people because they care about the future.
And they want to be listened to, and they want to have a role, because in the past they've been talked about but never really been included. Look, I wish you all the best. I know the Greens will do well. I hope you get a few extra seats in the lower house as well, which would be wonderful to have a balance of views. And thank you for being part of the show. Let's talk to Julie Matheson. Tell us about the WA Party, Julie. What do you stand for?
Well, if all the major parties, including the Greens, have been doing something for WA, the West Australia Party wouldn't exist. But it's very important that Western Australia electors understand that there's so many things to do in Western Australia, but we don't have the money. Western Australia has been without a proper share of the GST since about 2008. We have exported $1 trillion worth of minerals out of Western Australia to the overseas, and we have got very little to show for it. And the GST is the only thing in Western Australia that has caused us so many problems. The GST was set up for police, nurses, teachers, and we are lacking all of those services.
We have had a top-up, but finally the Liberal government...
That's not a top-up. We were going to 70 cents in the dollar anyway under the current...
What are we now? What's the limit that we... I thought it was
we're heading towards 70 cents in the dollar. I think we're at about 55 cents in the dollar.
I know you've got people in every... Is it nearly every seat?
Nearly every seat, yes.
So your polling must tell you where you sit. If you were to gain a couple of seats in WA... in the seats that you're running for, what can we notice from you that will be different to the other, can I call the Centre Alliance, the independents? How will you be different?
Well, our focus is purely on Western Australia. We don't have to go to the east to work out our ballot paper, our preference deals. All of that is done in the eastern states. Policy is all done in the eastern states. We're the only party dedicated to Western Australia.
So who will you be giving your preferences to, the Liberal or Labor Party, or neither?
Well, we actually don't want to change people's views. If you're a Liberal voter, continue to vote Liberal. If you're a Labor voter, continue to vote Labor. We just want you to put Western Australia number one by voting for us and then vote for the Liberal Party or the Labor Party. We're not about changing people's political views. We want them to send a message to Canberra that they can't continue to keep all the money in Canberra.
And tell me the experience in your party. I know that you've got Russell Goodrick there as your media person.
He's fantastic.
Russell, but some of the other candidates that are running, I don't know a lot about them. Are they experienced in the world of politics? Have they experienced politics before, or they know what they're talking about?
Yeah, we have run candidates before in the state election, so we have got experienced candidates that have run before. Our candidates range from age 25 to age 75. On the ages scale, we have covered all the age bases. In terms of gender scale, we have got 35% of our candidates are women, and we have an amazing team of people that have come through from the mining sector, from the local government sector. We've got former mayors. We've got deputy presidents.
And I guess you've probably picked up people that have been disillusioned by the two major parties, haven't you?
Lots and lots. You know, our party is probably the fastest growing party in Western Australia.
Do you believe in climate change?
Look, I believe that we need really good policy to tackle the climate impacts in Western Australia. We need to protect our infrastructure from the ravages of climate. I mean, I was born and raised in Port Hedland. Cyclones are a big issue. And if cyclones take out one of the hubs, the economic hubs of Western Australia, that's a major problem for Western Australia.
So
we need to protect our infrastructure from the different climate elements that are going on.
So there is a belief then in the climate of the world and also global warming, which is great as well. When it comes to other issues like welfare, pensioners, do you have a view on those topics as well?
Absolutely. Without the money from Canberra, we can't help our people in Western Australia. We really need to focus in on the money that we need for Western Australia. We've been ripped off to the tune of $2 billion plus per year in the lack of GST. Western Australia and New South Wales are the only states that don't get a per capita share of the GST. So this is an amazing opportunity for Western Australia to make a change at the ballot box. Vote one for Western Australia and then the other parties as you see fit.
And if people want to join you as a member and get more information, where can they do that?
They can go to our website, which is westernaustraliaparty.org.au, and we would accept donations too. We're not funded by the big corporates. We are funded by grassroots Western Australians.
Well, good luck. I'm glad to see that maybe that third party coming to start. I still wish the Greens were there. Rachel, where do people go if they want more information about the Greens? You've got a website as well?
We've got a website as well. If they just Google AustralianGreens.org.au, they'll find us.
Do you predict, can I ask a prediction? I know you were telling me off air, we're not sure who you think might win. Can you give us a prediction where you think we might end up after the 18th of May? In the lower house, I'm talking.
If I had a Ouija board, of course, or a crystal ball, certainly I want to see a change of government.
So you'd be happy with the Labor Party winning?
I'd want to see a change of government.
So you don't care who it is?
And with the Greens with balance of power, I think we'd see some very significant progress in this country.
Look, I could live with that because I'm one of these people. I think it's time for a change.
And absolutely. If you just see the appalling mess this lot have made in so many areas, their refusal to help the most vulnerable, the way they have put in policies that hurt the most vulnerable and not address climate change, it's appalling.
I've called them the mean-spirited government. I think they're very mean when it comes to people who can't look after themselves, whether you're disabled, unemployed, a pensioner, or people who need dental care or podiatry. This government has really shown an arrogance, and they look after the top end of town. I have to agree with that. Certainly their policies do. But it's nice to have a fresh, different team to be voting for, especially the WA party. Thank you for coming in today, Julie.
And I just want to mention, this is going to be a Melbourne Cup event. So hence my Melbourne Cup hat.
Love it.
We just, you know, it's a great opportunity for the West Australia Party and other candidates to have a win.
Rachel, I'm hoping to have you back in with the Labor spokespeople soon, and maybe we'll get you back in before the election as well, if you're willing.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you very much. The Australian Greens, Senator Rachel Seawood, and of course the brand new WA Party, the leader here, which is of course Julie Mathieson. Your vote, your say, but make sure it counts. Okay, we'll take a quick break. Coming back after the break, we're going to be talking movies, something a little bit different. See you then.
Connect with The Couch online through Facebook, Instagram and YouTube.
Welcome back to The Couch on this beautiful day, this Sunday. I hope you're enjoying the show. Don't forget, tell all your friends, it's also on Facebook if they want to join us and watch the show, if they haven't got Foxtel. It's thecouch.com.au. That's the best way of getting you to our website, thecouch.com.au. I probably caught the control. No, they've got it. How good is that? Very fast control room. And can I just say thank you to Liam Kyle as well, that's been with us for the last 3 weeks. He's come back to us to help us out, and we'd love to see him back again very soon. But thank you to him for all the hard work he's done for us as well. Thank you very much. All right, time to talk movies, and with our movie man, he's back again, Mark Rickoff. Welcome back.
Thank you.
How have you been? Have you had a good week?
It's been a great week.
Now, I believe you went and saw 2040.
I did, yes.
And you liked it?
I did, yeah. It's very insightful.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm interviewing the guy in that, Damon.
Yes.
I'll be interviewing him in the next couple of days and hopefully bring it to you on the couch as well. Yeah. Interesting documentary, wasn't it?
Yeah,
about
important subject. Change. Yeah, it's something that needs to be talked about, definitely.
I think climate change, I was saying to Senator Rachel Seawood before, I think it is important to young people today, that climate change, global warming, all that type of thing. So I guess the election will tell. But we've got 3 good movies today. The first one, I'll have to pronounce it for you because you've got to be really careful how you say this one. It's called The Extraordinary Journey of the F-A-K-I-R. F-A-A-K-R. I said fakir, I said faker, or you can say fikir. But I don't care how you say it. Tell us what it's all about.
The Extraordinary Journey of the Fakir. Fakir is about a guy that lives in Mumbai and he does magic tricks on the street and that's how he makes his money and that's how he lives.
Is it a comedy?
It is, yeah. And basically what he does is he tricks his village into thinking that he's actually got these real special powers and they fund him to go on a trip to Europe to get a bed full of nails from IKEA.
Really?
That is the story.
It sounds like an interesting movie.
Hey, it's an original idea, so...
Do you know what?
Yeah.
The movie or watching Liberal Party commercials, the movie wins.
Yeah.
So any well-known actors in this one? Any good directors?
Well, the director, I wasn't actually that familiar with Ken Scott. He did Delivery Man and Unfinished Business. I have heard of them, but I haven't seen them. The Ganush is just the one-word name of the lead actor, obviously.
The Ganush.
D-Ganush, so...
Diganush.
Diganush. I don't know if it's a silent D or
I wonder
anything.
if he was responsible for the title.
Possibly, but Erin Moriarty from that TV show Jessica Jones, she's in it. Originally it was cast as Uma Thurman, but they changed it up.
What is the journey of the fakir, or fakir?
Well, I think what it relates to in the film is him travelling through Europe to go, well, however he travels.
So is he the fakir?
Yeah, well, fakir. Well, it actually means, it's kind of like a religious term. It means it's someone that lives by the givings of others, basically.
So
it's like a Hinduism.
It's a real thing.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, so it's not his name, it's like a title of a religious kind of lifestyle, maybe.
Any other trivia or facts?
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of countries funded this one. What we had like Belgian, French, Canadian, Indian and Italian production companies all put in for it because a lot of Europe is used, so yeah, it's quite interesting.
Good.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at the trailer. Here it is.
Right.
Love in Paris is 10 times stronger than anywhere else. Honey, I can't find the keys to my car. Sorry, I really have to test the living room before buying them. Maria and I bonded instantaneously when I told her all about India. I'll see you tomorrow under the Eiffel Tower.
Okay. Oh, here in Paris, we do it on the cheeks.
Since I had no money, I chose to stay there for the night.
That one.
Where are we going? London. London? Please, I have to go back to Paris. Karma. It works every time.
You're a refugee?
Yes.
I have a special gift. I read the future in traffic.
Chance is everything. We play with the hand it deals us. And these are the cards chance dealt me.
Aja, you are in control of your life.
You all are illegal immigrants?
And you are not?
I'm a tourist.
Traveling in a wardrobe.
There you go. New movie coming out. It's out right now, actually, 2nd of May.
Yeah.
The other movie we've got is another comedy, The Top End Wedding. What's that one all about?
Yeah, new Aussie film.
I like the cast. Good cast.
Very good cast. So we have Gwilym Lee, who was in Bohemian Rhapsody from last year. Miranda Tapsell, who was in The Sapphires.
She's in everything.
Yeah, she is. And but she's,
Love
you know,
Child.
this gives her a little bit more of a comical license, I guess you could say.
She's on
in this.
everything, but I mean, Love Child was one of her fabulous things. She was
Yeah.
also on the Charlie Pickering show again the other night. She's an amazing actress and a wonderful Indigenous role model.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. And this is a great showcase for her. So yeah, basically this is about her and her new fiance. She brings him to Australia to meet the family and have the wedding, but then her parents have actually had a bit of a scuffle and they the mum has disappeared into the desert somewhere, so they go on a journey to find
look for
the
the
mum
mother.
so she can be a part of the wedding. Yeah.
Who directed this one?
So the director is Wayne Blair, so he did The Sapphires.
Yep. Oh, yes.
Yeah, and she was also in that. Yeah.
All right.
He also did Septembers of Shiraz, which wasn't as popular in Australia, but you can look it up, and it's not too hard to find, but it's quite an interesting one.
And this one's out now as well. Let's have a look at the trailer.
I've always been able to see it. Both my parents walking me down the aisle. I can't get married if my mum isn't here.
So we're going to go and find her.
Dad, I need you to plan the wedding.
Hey?
If we find Mum, you're off the hook. But I don't even know where to start. Do you know where she went?
Ouais, to Catherine.
To Catherine.
Une minute. Quit here bashing me, love. Yeah, she caught a knee drag at a Catherine. Now bugger off. Au revoir.
I need to find my mum.
When you're hurting, where do you go looking?
Back home. Mum's from the Tiwi Islands, but I've never gone to Tiwi.
How about we just go up there? Look at where I am because of you. I'm in the top end of the country. It's your place. Time to take it to the family now. Hold on to your munchies, because it's about to get crunchy.
Weddings change people. Not just the bride and groom. Make this wedding romantic and you'll get Arnie back.
Marriage is a journey, and what better place to start that journey than right here? Nginingaula Tangaruma, our home.
He's 2 hours late. Anyone got any jokes?
Awesome movie, comes out now.
Yes.
It's out now. Now,
And that was actually filmed in South Australia,
there you
mostly,
go.
and Adelaide, and a bit in Northern Territory, I think.
now, your pick of the week for this week.
Gloria Bell.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, so a bit of a showcase for Julianne Moore. So this is actually a remake of a Chilean film from 2014. The director is Sebastian Lillo, and he did Disobedience last year, and the year before that, A Fantastic Woman.
Yep.
This is basically a remake from his film, his own film actually, where this woman in her early 50s just is living this free life, like a free-spirited kind of life, where she goes to like over 50s nightclubs, stands there by herself, drink cocktails, meets random people, not just men but women, just making friends, and then obviously she's searching for love during that time and comes across all these interesting characters.
So why would you watch it? Tell me what the selling point is. Why did you like it?
Well, so I saw his original film back in 2014, and the reason is because Hollywood fails to focus on women in that age range. A lot of the time they focus on, sorority house films and like girls and that kind of stuff, which isn't a bad thing, but for Hollywood to fund a film or to even put on a production for a film that focuses on someone in that age range, which is really important, characters of that kind don't get depicted in
Fair
those
enough.
kind of, on mainstream cinemas that much. So,
Right, and it's called?
Gloria Bell.
There you go, look out for it. Let's have a look at the top fives for this week as they stand. Number 5, it is, here it is, number 5.
Wonder Park.
Number 4.
Captain Marvel.
Number 3.
Dumbo.
Number 2.
Shazam.
Number 1.
Avengers Endgame.
Thank you very much to Mark Rikoff. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Now, thanks to our good friends at Palace, we're giving away 2 tickets to Platinum and 2 to the normal cinema, which they're both fantastic if you haven't been to Rain Square. It looks just amazing. They've got great service, great food and a great venue, great comfy seats. We're giving away 2. All you have to do is put on an SMS your name and address plus the word Palace. There it is on screen right now. Palace is the code word, your name and address, and send it to 0439 929 929. We'll give away some more next week and you'll get the double ticket. So you get 2 for the Platinum and 2 for the normal screenings. You'll love them both. Thanks to Palace. That is it, the end of the show for this week. Mark, thank you very much. You got a busy week?
Anytime. Yes, keeping busy.
I'm always busy. Next week, like I said, I've got that interview with the fantastic guy. His name is Damon Glunner. I think I pronounced that right. He's got a great new documentary called 2040. It's all about climate change and it's all about global warming, driverless cars and more. We're going to do it here in Perth on our foreshore. I look forward to bringing that to you next week. Thank you to our wonderful people at Anarchy Media and Publicity for allowing us to do that. I shall see you next week. Thanks to everybody for watching. Thanks to everybody who's been on the show. Have a great week. Bye-bye.
The Couch is proudly supported by Palace Cinemas, Elite Audiovisual Productions, Crown and Andrews Board Games. Fun for the whole family. And Scoot Airlines. Escape the ordinary. Fly Scoot.